So Baba has said that we need to be so fearless and we need to be ready. That's why Baba gave us so much time. This Zoom and everything is for us, so that we can have tapasya, we can prepare ourselves, we can make our stage. And I remember when Dadiji became aware, well, left the body, and then Dadiji's messages were all about that as the time goes. This was in 2007, 8, messages 2008, that, and, you know, study well, prepare yourselves, because as the time goes, there'll be a lot of tension, a lot of mental illness, a lot of fear, a lot of confusion. And so, you know, and so this is what, how many years? 12 years or more, 14 years now that we are seeing it, that as time goes, so even Dadiji has predicted that and asked us to pay attention to our stage, become fearless. And, you know, every day in the news we are hearing that now people are so tired that they're so confused and they don't know where they are. This morning they were saying in Poland, where the refugees are, that so many times they will show them the signs, the map, that you are here now, you are here now. So people are getting like that. But for us, Baba said that you should have Baba's love, Baba's mercy for others, and stay with Baba and give blessings. And but so long as you stay under the canopy and with Baba, and Baba's wish is that you change yourself, become fearless, and become perfect and complete. And so for us, you see, this is a rehearsal as well. In a drama, we do rehearsal. And as the time goes, papers will be even harder. So Baba has said specifically that your stage should be such unshakable, immovable, and fearless. So even this last Thursday's message was that some children were, you know, as soon as there was some chaos or something, some children were running away, some were disheartened and confused, and Baba said that shouldn't happen. You should stay with Baba and become fearless. So this was Baba's message, and so Baba has been, you know, helping us, giving us time. But once the situation gets worse, we'll have even harder and harder and harder, and we'll be alone as well. We won't have all this time of sitting down, helping is, you know. That's why it will be just Baba and me and my stage. So this is the time to make our stage.
Shanti, brothers and sisters joining us through the video. We just turned on the recording because we were having a fairly lengthy chit chat before we started this recording. And of course, for all of us, the scenes that we're seeing on the television of the invasion of Ukraine are very troubling. And on the other side is Brahmins. That has already told us in advance. What are the scenes of the drama? What is the destiny of the drama? We know that it's part of the process of distraction for Europe to fight with each other. The previous 2 world wars were based there. We know that Russia and America, they stimulate each other's negativity and aggression. And that's part of the drama as well. God has told us that. And when I was a teenager at school, I'd taken advanced level history, and for 2 years I'd studied in detail Nazi Germany, and I recalled all of those black and white photographs of the Nazi advances through Europe in the 1930s and all the war scenes of the 1940s. And here I am, 25 years later, witnessing almost those same scenes, those same processes back in Europe, in color this time, live this time. I'm older as well, so I'm more taking it in as well. And you can see that these are all part of the scenes of the drama that Baba's been telling us are going to happen. And the lessons that we've seen from those times of the 1930s were that where a leader of a powerful country feels shame that their past greatness has been reduced, and that shame, that humiliation, because Germany had surrendered in the First World War and Hitler really felt that that shouldn't have happened, that the country had been humiliated. And so ego, that shame, is a very powerful driver. So there's this narrative of greatness, where we are greater than this, we are bigger than this. And then it combines with fear, that my neighbors, they're going to attack me at some point, I better attack first. And what Baba has told us is that the fire of fear will lead to the fires of distraction. And if you think about it, you look at history, you look at even the history we've seen in our lifetime, so many decisions are based on fear. So what we are witnessing is Russia's fear of the West driving aggression. You see, behind violence is fear all the time. And then what does fear cause? It creates fear in the victims, of course. So people living peacefully, and then suddenly we're already 1 million refugees, who knows how many. And then what happens is that refugees, when they're in a country initially, there's compassion, but over time, they become the people that people fear. And you will see this. So already we've seen Germany, 30 years, they have reduced their military spending, and suddenly they've committed 100 billion. And this is what we will see. We'll see Europe now increase military spend. So we know the drama, right? We know what is the destiny, that fear creates violence. More fear creates more expenditure on weapons. And in times of peace, people would not tolerate such expenditure. But when there's fear, people expect you to do this. So this is the sad, sad times of this drama. But together with that, we've had like different rehearsals, haven't we? We've had a pandemic rehearsal. We didn't have one of those since 1918. So you can see how these things did happen in the 20th century. And now we are having the rehearsals of them again, 100 years later. And what's Baba's question to all of us? Are you ever ready? So don't be lazy children. Don't be careless children. You're going to have your Amrit Vena. You're going to have your Murli. You're going to have to build your chant, because at the time of crisis, remember crisis, even the academic literature tells us that crisis creates change. So crises are going to increase one after the other. And so we are going to hear a Murli today, which Baba spoke after a crisis, to explain to us what the crises are going to look like and why they're happening. But before we begin, I think Sister Marie, did you want to come in? I think you have your hand raised.
Om Shanti. Happy weekend, notwithstanding everything that's going on around us. Just a brief remembrance of Jagdish Bhai. We were in the 90s in the center of Delhi, and we were looking at the poster of the two cats, the United States and Russia, that were supposed to be fighting over the butter. And we were already in the 90s when there was this handshake between Gorbachev and Reagan, president of US and Russia. And we told Jagdish Bhai, the two cats are no longer fighting because they are now friends. And he just said, we can never tell what will happen in the future.
Right.
That's all I wanted to say. Om Shanti.
Yeah, thank you for that insight. And just before we started the recording, I was mentioning one or two stories of Jagdish Bhai. And you see, Baba tells us these things in the drama in advance, doesn't he? So these things then always happen. And we've also, the other word that Baba has taught us is suddenly, hasn't he? That these are the two words that sum up the Iron Age. Suddenly. Suddenly and fear. You know, if you're going to sum up the Iron Age. And so we saw that these things, you can have peace and then you don't have peace. It's not like there's a process. There just isn't peace anymore. And so we are seeing this acceleration. The world has changed. The world changed after 9/11. The world changed after the financial crash. The world changed after the pandemic. The world changed now after this invasion. And all of the academic literature tells us that human beings prefer not to change. And really, change only happens when there's a crisis, really. And that can be a crisis in your family, that can be a crisis in your company, that can be a crisis in your society, it can be a global crisis. So it's actually crises that make us change. And the Murli that Ranjan Ben is going to read, those of you that have been attending these chit chats for some time, we've read it a couple of times actually, but it's such a useful Murli to remind ourselves, why are these things happening? As Ranjan Ben was saying, we have to be a detached observer. So in December 1984, one of the American companies, Union Carbide, had a chemical disaster. And yesterday in the news, there was real fear that the Russian bombs might hit one of the nuclear plants in Ukraine. Ukraine, your brothers and sisters will remember the severe nuclear disaster happened in Chernobyl in 1986, and so much of Europe, maybe even now, is still getting radiation. I don't think radiation just goes away. I think it's there. So we might still be being affected by that, but certainly for some years, it was very, very dangerous. And bombs were hitting just buildings next to us just yesterday. So in Bhopal in India, which Bhopal is like in the middle of India, and foreign companies often use cheap labor in places like India. And one of the reasons it's cheaper is they don't have to worry about health and safety in the same way that they have to in the West. And very regrettably, there was a chemical explosion at a chemical factory. And so many people were killed and burnt and maimed. It was horrendous. Pictures, horrendous. You can look at it on YouTube, in fact. And then there was so much effect on Brahmins' minds, because of course Brahmins are very compassionate people. And they were seeing these scenes and feeling upset. So brothers and sisters mentioned it to Daddy Guzan, who mentioned it to Baba. And Baba then spoke this morally, explained it. See, Baba responds to all crises with the eye of knowledge. So he empowers us with the eye of knowledge. Why is this happening? And then what must you do? So I'll hand over to Ranjan.
Om Shanti, good morning to all. This is the Murli of 10th December 1984. 10, 12, 84, 1984. Today, Bap Dada has come to see the corporeal children in the corporeal world by taking the support of a corporeal body. At the present time, there is upheaval in the world. That is, there is the environment of suffering. Bap Dada is seeing his children being steady and unshakable. He is seeing how his children are detached and loving, like lotus flowers. Even in the state of such upheaval in the world, in the environment of fear, they are fearless. So Baba is giving us all these blessings to imbibe and to stay like that. He is watching his children being the embodiment of power. He is seeing the world transformer children, the carefree kings. So these are the self-respect we should stay in. Baba is seeing us with such a high vision. He is seeing the world transformer children, the carefree kings. Such carefree kings cannot be influenced even a little by the atmosphere or the environment of fear and worries. At the present time, the majority of souls of the world are influenced by fear and worries. It is especially these two things that are influencing them. And you children have become the embodiments of good wishes. Worries are changed into pure thinking. And instead of being afraid, you are singing songs of happiness. Do you experience that much transformation? So, you are the ones who are able to serve all through good wishes and through pure thoughts, and you are able to give the donation of peace and happiness through your mental service. You are the ones who give the cooperation and power to the souls who are dying of untimely death. You are the embodiments of immorality and peace. Or immortality, yeah, sorry about that. You are the embodiments of immortality and peace. The present time is the season of untimely death. At times, the sea suddenly erupts or storms occur. In the same way, there are cyclones of untimely death which hit so many souls suddenly at one go. These storms of untimely death have just started. This was in 84, Baba said. It started. These two calamities, civil war and natural calamities, become instruments for transformation every cycle in Bharat in particular. The method of transformation abroad is different, but these two things become instrumental, particularly in Bharat, and you are seeing the rehearsal of both. Both are acting together. So that is civil war and natural calamities. That happens a lot in India, Bharat. Whereas in West, it's bombs and nuclear weapons, mostly. Children have asked, Baba, why are so many dying together at once? What is the reason? Baba said, you children do know and experience also that the time of becoming complete is approaching, and that the accounts of sinful actions since the beginning of the Copper Age, which have not been settled, still remain, and it is now time to return home. From the Copper Age onwards, whether souls were doing good karma or bad karma, if they hadn't completed their karmic account in one birth, they were able to clear it in the next birth. But now, being the last sin, and there being such a large account of sinful actions remaining, souls are leaving the body quickly. It is just short-lived birth and death. Births to deaths are in short intervals, and through this, they are experiencing punishment. Their old accounts are being cleared in this way. At the present time, both birth and death are very dreadful, and the majority of souls are suffering through this. Neither is birth easy, nor is death easy. Birth is dreadful, and the birth is painful, and this is also a method for clearing karmic accounts quickly. It is just as in the old world, where new methods are adopted to destroy ants and mosquitoes, etc. Means fly killers, the sprays for killing insects. So Baba is saying that in the same way,
The sins are like insects.
So,
you're
yeah.
going to kill a large amount all at once.
So, and Baba just say, birth is dreadful and birth is painful. And this is also a method for clearing karmic accounts quickly. It is just as in the old world, where new methods are adopted to destroy ants and mosquitoes, etc. Through these methods, germs, insects, mosquitoes, etc. are destroyed at once. And in the same way, human beings are also dying untimely death like ants and mosquitoes. Since there is no difference remaining between insects and human beings, they have to clear all their karmic accounts together. This is why the cyclone of untimely death is coming from time to time. At the end, there is the role of clearing accounts through punishment, also in Dharamraj Puri. That is the judgment day. That is the judgment day. But their souls clear their accounts individually. So karmic accounts are also specifically of three types. Firstly, the souls clear their accounts individually, personally. For instance, they suffer through physical sickness, through mental weakness, and through possession by evil spirits. In this way, souls clear their karmic accounts on a personal level. Secondly, there is the account of suffering through relations and contacts. And how it is clear, you can understand this also. Thirdly, there is the clearing of accounts through natural calamities. Now, all these accounts are being cleared through these three different ways. In Dharamraj Puri, there are no physical relations or natural calamities. So those accounts are not cleared there. Those are here on the corporeal world so that all their old accounts can be cleared there. This is why this machinery of clearing accounts is moving very fast, and it has to happen in the old world. Understand? This is the account of karma philosophy. Now, check yourself. Have I, the Brahmin soul, cleared my old karmic accounts through my fast speed of effort? Or is there still some burden remaining? Have you cleared your past karmic accounts? Baba is asking. Or is there some remaining? Do you know the method? Do you know what are the special signs of remaining karmic accounts? Do you know what are the special signs of remaining karmic accounts? If in the thought of elevated transformation and performing pure actions, there is still hindrance from old sanskars or karma, or if you want to transform yourself, or you have a thought to transform yourself, but in spite of thinking, you are not able to do so, and then you say, I didn't want to do this action, and yet it happened. I don't know why it happened. Or there has been an elevated desire, there has been courage and enthusiasm, and yet you had been influenced by something, and you say, I didn't want to do it. I didn't even think of doing it, and yet it has happened. This is called the influence of all sanskars and nature of the self. And there is also influence of bad company. And then there is the influence of the environment and atmosphere. These three types of influence, the environment, the company, the self, in spite of not thinking, not wanting, and yet being influenced and not being successful, are the signs of old accounts. Now, seeing these signs, check yourselves. Is any kind of burden bringing you down from the experience of the flying stage? To be free from past accounts means to achieve experience of flying stage constantly. If there is the experience sometimes and not at other times, it means some account is still remaining. So in this way, check yourself. In the world of sorrow, the mountains of sorrow will burst. And at such a time, the only method of safety is Baap Dada's umbrella of protection. And that has been provided. You are under that umbrella, aren't you? Acha, all of you have come to celebrate a meeting. No matter how fearful and painful the scene is outside, through this celebration, the things outside become a game. You are not afraid of these sins. You will be singing the songs of meeting and dancing in happiness, and will be able to give the cooperation of your courage as well. It is not a physical dance, it is the dance of happiness. Are you constantly celebrating this meeting? Do you constantly stay in this meeting? Anyway, you have come to Madhuban to celebrate this meeting with Bap Dada. And Bap Dada is very pleased to see such children who are enjoying the meeting, this meeting. The decorations of Madhuban have arrived in Madhuban. Acha, to such souls who are the embodiment of powers, who are clearing the accounts of the self and encouraging others to do the same. The souls who are constantly detached and loving amidst the dreadful atmosphere of sorrow, and the souls who are constantly becoming spiritual lotus flowers, to such elevated well-wishers and elevated souls and remembrances and namaste from Bapdada. Shall I read for the teachers? And
We'll stop there.
it's just a little bit. Because they had asked some. So Bapdada speaking to the teachers, you are servers, not just teachers. Service includes renunciation and deep meditation. In service, there is merged meditation and service. To become a server means to become worthy to be a mine, means mine like gold mine or diamond mine. Service is such a thing which makes you complete, full, and overflowing in every second. You become so full that you are able to use it for half a kalpa. There won't be a need to make effort anymore. You are such servers, but spiritual servers. Those who do service in the state of soul consciousness are called spiritual servers. Bap Dada gives the title of spiritual roses to such spiritual servers. So are you all spiritual roses who never wilt? Are you? You are ones who able to refresh everyone through the fragrance of spirituality. To become a server is very great fortune. To become a server means to become like the Father. As Baba is a server, so you instrument servers are also servers like him. Baba is the unlimited teacher and you are instrument teachers. So you have the fortune to become like him. Through this elevated fortune, encourage others to receive the blessings of imperishable fortune. Out of the entire world, only a few souls are able to receive such an elevated fortune. By remembering this special fortune, become the embodiment of power and encourage others to become so. Fly and make others fly. Continue to progress and encourage others to progress. Acha, Om Shanti.
So we heard from Baba that we've got 3 sets of karmic accounts that we have to clear down here in the body. There'll be karmic accounts which are personal to us, maybe with our body, maybe mental karmic accounts, then karmic accounts with other people, other souls, and then we've got karmic accounts with nature. So Baba is saying that those accounts, they can't be cleared in the subtle region. And therefore, there's all of these papers are going to come our way, and we've got to understand what they are and use knowledge and yoga to clear them. And then as we observe other souls' drama, Baba tells us that it's not in their part to clear accounts through knowledge and yoga. Their role is that they clear their accounts through the scenes of drama. And so many such, he called it, when Baba is coming from that position of the ocean of knowledge, of truth, he gives us some really stark imagery. So he was using the imagery like the cyclones of death are just beginning. And what Baba is explaining is that since the Copper Age, you could have cleared your accounts incrementally, but now we're at the end of the cycle. It has to be cleared quickly. And one of the main methods for that are short lifespans. And so the soul is only just getting going, and then they leave the body and they have to start again. For all of us children, the two words that are very relevant are suddenly and ever ready. And so what we are seeing that the Iron Age, and especially this end of the Iron Age, Baba called it the season of untimely death, that all of these things at the end of the Iron Age, one of their features is everything happening suddenly. When the planes went into the World Trade Center in 2001, did any of us expect that? It happened suddenly. When there was the tsunami that killed 250,000 people around Indonesia and Southeast Asia, did anyone expect that? No, it came suddenly. When the financial crash occurred in 2008, did anyone expect? No, it came suddenly. When we had the pandemic, did any of us even think we didn't even really know what a pandemic was, that we would have to live through that. No, it happened suddenly. And then we look at this current invasion of Ukraine, and suddenly this increase once again of hostility between Europe and Russia, Russia and the US. Did it happen slowly? No, not really. Suddenly, within a week, which these things have just happened. Even many Ukrainians, they didn't believe it, did they? Right up until it happened. They didn't think that Russia would actually do this. But it happened suddenly. So Baba is telling us that because the features of this time of the drama are that everything happens suddenly, and that all karmic accounts now have to be cleared quickly because of the volume of karmic accounts. That means you are going to have to use your time of peace to be prepared in advance. And you have to make yourself ever ready in every way, emotionally, mentally, physically, because the first thing that goes in these situations are clean water, electricity, communication, food, water, these things. So fear will increase in all sorts of situations. And Baba is saying, in that atmosphere of fear, can you remain carefree? Have you got that much strength? Can you remain uninfluenced? So we're going to need a lot of yoga power. So Baba is saying, get on with it. Because you have this opportunity to clear through yoga, and you have the responsibility to serve through your mind. Only you can take from Shiv Baba and then instill in other souls. So why not commit yourself to that? So any of the brothers and sisters with us at the moment who would like to say anything or ask anything? we had quite a lot of chit chat before, so I think all answers have been received after hearing that Murli. And I think our message from Baba is, children, don't waste any time, because these things will come your way. You're not unique in that sense, but you're unique in the sense that you're under Baba's canopy of protection. So now that you've got a time of peace, make the most of this time. Have your Amrit Vela, have longer Amrit Velas. Read your Murli, read the Murli several times through the day. Just you got little test papers coming to you at the moment. Don't worry too much about them, and build your chant of remembrance. So make the most of your time, because suddenly that peaceful time can be gone. The mountains of sorrow are going to burst. That was the imagery. We were hearing quite some images, weren't we, just now in the morning? So we've seen it burst over Ukraine. It didn't take time. We don't know when it would be our turn. So let's make the most of when times are good. So Om Shanti, thank you those of you joining us, and also warm wishes and greetings to those of you watching the video later on. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Nice to see you all. Om Shanti.
This is quite